moving forward, what kind of inspired you to become an economics major?
So I grew up in a really economically disparate area with a lot of low income people intermixed with a lot of high income people. And I used to wonder what made people rich and poor. So that's what inspired me to take my first economics class with Dr. Lewis Johnson, Econ 111. And from there, I was just hooked. The explanatory power that economics provides, as well as the rigor of the associated classes, both made it a worthwhile and interesting pursuit. And I just never looked back from there. It put the hook in me.
I think this is a good segue for great courses, great professors. What advice do you have for students considering an economics major?
So I have two main pieces of advice. One is get to know all of your professors, and two is ask a lot of questions. Economics is a broad and diverse field with a lot of different facets associated with it. So if you have questions, if you have things you're curious about related to how money works, how cryptocurrency works, how the stock market works, how do people allocate things in their life, economics has a field that's associated with that, and economics can help you understand that. So asking questions about things that you're interested in is key because economics is so broad. And getting to know your professors. The professors in the economics department at CSB+SJU were one of my personal highlights from my tenure there. Getting the opportunity to learn from so many people with diverse perspectives and a deep expertise and passion for teaching in economics was just unbelievably lucky. I recall sitting in the economics waiting area. This, of course, was pre-COVID, and seeing the Carnegie steel beams surrounding you and the stained glass above you, and just getting to talk with your economics professors about what the next step is, what you want to do post-graduation. Having an economics major is like having like 10 advisors, and they're all invested in your success. So get to know all of them because they're all great and they all have unique perspectives on what you're doing.
So you mentioned how you're going to get your PhD, and then you mentioned like teaching, specifically in liberal arts. Is that kind of what you want to do with your degree? And has that always been what you wanted to do with your degree?
So I came into college wanting to go to law school, but I was just enamored with the explanatory power that economics provided, and I really enjoy math. So it kind of it fit in all places. And from that point on, I wanted to be like the professors I had at CSB+SJU, because getting the opportunity to interface with students one-on-one and getting to teach them things that you're passionate about and getting to impart that passion is something that I would like to continue. It seems like it's a tradition at CSB+SJU where the professors really are able to communicate their passions well and effectively. And I want to continue that when I'm teaching.
What were some other highlights from your time at CSB+SJU, and why were they highlights?
So my personal big highlight was getting to present my research, my 384 capstone at the Minnesota State Capitol. I was one of 4 students that was selected to present their research in the Capitol Rotunda in a poster session from CSB+SJU, and I got to represent the econ department with my research into sawmilling from 1850 to 1870 and how it shifted as a result of the steam engine. So being able to discuss my economic research with state senators, with state legislators, with legislative aides, and getting to discuss how that research impacts what we're seeing today in Minnesota with capital and labor substitutability. That was a really powerful experience for me, and getting to communicate with people and helping them understand.
Just returning back to CSB+SJU, was there any other activities or clubs that you were in that you thought really had an effect on you, and what were they?
Yeah, so I was the co-president of the mock trial team for 3 years, 2 years, sorry, alongside my friend Dominic Roosh, who's currently going to law school. I was the academic affairs representative for St. John's University. I was the social media manager for the United Politics Club for a year, and I was the president of the men's chorus during that
Mhm.
time.
So very involved, very prestigious positions. Was there at any point you wanted to do anything other than teaching, or is that kind of just like concrete formulated into your plan?
So, in addition to teaching, I've always wanted to research, and I've always wanted to research at a very high level. And I think that the economics program really helps with that because it instills a deep curiosity about the way in which economics is thought of and the way in which it's constantly changing.
Mhm.
So being able to develop that intellectual curiosity over time has really pushed me to want to do research as well, which is an integral part of being a professor and an integral part of getting tenure wherever you go. So really working in that kind of dual mode environment of both teaching and interfacing with students as well as doing research, I think is kind of where my home is, and it's where I reside, and it's where I'd like to spend the rest of my life.
And one more, I think I have one more question before I'll set you free. 'Cause I bet you're just a busy guy. Um, you mentioned how you specifically looked for your PhD programs through a good student to faculty ratio to make sure you get these interpersonal connections with your faculty and one-on-one help. In what ways did CSB/SJU contribute to this?
So CSB+SJU contributed to this just amazingly. So being able to be with, I mean, like I said previously, the econ department is like having 10 advisors. Every professor that you have is invested in your future, is invested in seeing you succeed, and can serve as a mentor at any time. So that sort of thing is powerful, and especially when you're dealing with the world of a PhD where connections are mean a lot, and knowing who you know is an important facet. The econ experience at CSB SJU really helped with that because I was able to discuss with professors and pick their brains about topics, and it improved my research and it improved my learning. So I would like to continue that process of improvement at the PhD level.